Wow. Hey, I am so glad that we got you. I mean, this is an area that you specialize in. A lot of the people in your business, they do water damage, they do smoke, and they do 10 different things. You really concentrate on mold, which is so important.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. It's, they found, we're finding out more and more that mold creates so many problems in, our bodies, everyday lives. That's why you see a lot of doctors, a lot of DOs, doctors of osteopathy, they become specialists in mold. Years ago, there's a lot of guys who are freelancing and maybe they weren't having a medical background and they would try to specialize in mold. Well, as these doctors start coming up through college and getting all their degrees, a lot of them find a lot of interest or finding out that mold crosses over so many different problems in the body, right? And they become specialists. A lot of DOs, because DOs, they focus on the body, right? So we're one of the few companies that DOs who are specializing in mold doctors, they will specifically recommend their patients before they start their own protocol to resolve their mold issues in the patient's body. They say, look, your environment needs to be clean. Don't call any mold company. Don't call just the guys who are trying to remove the mold. Get the guys who do the fogging, because they know that we're going to resolve that issue for them before they start the protocol, because they don't want to go in circles with that patient of having them get rid of the mold out of their bodies and it comes back again, right? So the curious thing about that is a lot of these doctors, we don't solicit them. They have done their research and they have found us, right? So they have found this protocol. They have done their tests. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. There's this doctor in Beverly Hills off La Cienega. He's a gynecologist, but he specializes in fertilization, right? So he has all these eggs.
Yes.
And he just wanted us to fog in there because he wanted to make sure it's clean. I was nervous about it because, that's a lawsuit ready to happen. People have all their eggs. Right? Do I want to fog in there? He told me, he goes, I've done more research than you know. He goes, and we've been there several times to fog his place because he wanted to make sure it was free of mold, right? So there's just a lot of stories from a lot of medical professions who say, this is the way to go. And I got to tell you, at the same time, I have other people, other companies say, oh, no, this doesn't work and all this stuff. And I don't try to make them wrong. I don't try to argue with them, but I just try to give them facts. Don't ask me. Ask why other doctors, mold specialists, DOs, gynecologists are finding out about us and recommending our services to their patients, So, and this is not to say that their process is the wrong way to go. I'm just telling you what we do and why we're pretty proud of what we do, So, yeah.
Well, Raymond, 25 minutes goes by really fast. Let's give everybody the number one more time. And Raymond's going to be with us every month. So, and then if you've missed the show today, you can actually go to iHeart and go to Mold and take show will come up.
Great. Our number, once again, Steve, is 626-671-8885. Once again, that's 626-671-8885. Mold Zero.
Raymond, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you again next month.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Go to break. And when we come back, do you snore? Well, let's get this stopped at right away. We'll be right back with Janet Bennett.
K. Bender Rembaum is a full-service community association law firm dedicated to the representation of community associations throughout Florida. On KBRLegal.com, you can learn more about their offices in Pompano Beach, Palm Beach Gardens, Orlando, Tampa, as well as throughout Miami-Dade by appointment. Several K. Bender Rembaum attorneys are board-certified specialists in condominium and plan development law and assist clients with all matters of community association legal issues while keeping them up to date on new developments that affect their associations. K. Bender Rembaum is also a well-known provider of free legal education for managers and board members. Contact K. Bender Rembaum today by calling 800-974-0680. That's 800-974-0680 to reach any of their locations. You can also visit them online at kbrlegal.com or write to them at info@kbrlegal.com.
And we are back with the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV with your hosts, Steve-O, Sophia, and their expert guests.
And we are back. Los Angeles, we are glad everybody is okay. You made it through the storm. We here in Florida know exactly what hurricanes are like. I told you our next guest, our expert, is really turning out to be a real expert because I have sleep apnea. And I just found out today some information from my doctor about my sleep apnea. So I am really glad that we have specialists in this. Janet Bennett. Good afternoon, Janet.
Good afternoon. How are you?
There you are. So I got a little story here to tell you. So
Okay.
we're going to talk about Janet's technique today. And I'm going to back out of this because Janet just explains it so well. And my doctor, who I started on Janet's technique. I wear a CPAP machine. Actually, mine's even stronger than that. So I really have bad sleep apnea. And I started trying Janet's technique. And after a week and a half, I did not need my sleep apnea machine. The reason why I knew is I wasn't being woken up from my snoring, which meant I wasn't snoring. So I did a sleep test the other night. I hadn't had one in 4 years. And the doctor said to me that he thinks maybe we should try something stronger. But I said, I'm not having any trouble. And I actually told him some of the steps, the techniques I'm using through Janet. And he's like, these older doctors don't believe in anything new at all. But I got to tell you, I was able to remove my CPAP machine. And if you've ever had to sleep with one on, you know how uncomfortable they are. I am now getting back on the program because I've done my sleep test and everything. And I'm telling you, because I've had sleep apnea for 10 years, I am telling you that Janet's technique is going to allow me, and she never told me to get rid of my CPAP machine, but I'm going to tell you, her machine is going to allow me to get off my machine and sleep like a normal person. So kudos to you, Ms. Bennett.
I'm so proud of you for starting it and hanging in there.
Well, listen, there's some work, but it's not hard work.
Right. I'm going to
And
explain all that. Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to you because you just do it so beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. This is the best part of my day when I get to share this. So I'm a speech pathologist and have been for many, many years. And I have been specializing in the treatment of stopping snoring and tongue thrust and swallowing and breathing correctly. All of those things go together. And I want to tell the audience what a tongue thrust is in case you don't know, because you'll hear me talk about it. A tongue thrust is when sometimes if some people will, when they swallow, their tongue pushes the back of their teeth, and they might have buck teeth. You've seen people where their teeth are sticking out farther than they should. Or some people have what's called an open bite, and they can't close their teeth because when they swallow, their tongue comes out between their teeth. So those are some bad problems to have. And normally the orthodontist will identify these issues and send them to me so that I can teach them how to swallow a different way so they aren't putting pressure on their teeth. That's the bottom line for that. And so I was treating one day, this was in 2003. I was treating a 14-year-old football player in my office, and I have a 7-week program. I see someone once a week, and they learn different tongue exercises. So when Steve was saying my technique, he was talking about the tongue exercises. And so this guy, his name is Adam, he had been to me for 2 visits. Now he's back for his 3rd visit. His mom came into my office and she said, "Janet, what are you doing to Adam?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, he's always been the loudest snorer in the world. He rattles our windows. And now he's not making a sound." I didn't know anything about snoring, and I was startled. And so I said, "Adam, tell me more. What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I'm doing better in school. I'm able to concentrate better. I'm making better grades, and I run faster." And so to me, to hear that he ran faster got my attention more than snoring did. So I went home when I got home, didn't even have a computer in my office then. But anyway, I researched it, and I just knew I was going to find people who snored were learning how to do tongue exercises to stop snoring. I just knew that was there. But no, I was very surprised to find that they want to cut off part of your uvula, that thing that hangs down in the back, or break your jaw and pull it forward so your airway's bigger. Or the dentist can make a retainer or a mouthpiece, something like that, to keep your tongue out of your airway. I think last time I told about this one mouthpiece. The dentist made it. It was a big clunky looking thing, and it sits right here, and it has a hole in the middle of it, like a big piece of rubber with a hole in the middle of it. And you had to put your tongue through that hole. So while you're sleeping, you've got this thing in your mouth and your tongue sticking out that hole. So that's not a good way to do that. Anyway, so I didn't find any tongue exercises at all. It was just ridiculous. So I decided I had to save the world. And then I realized I couldn't, not by myself anyway. And so I immediately I wanted to produce an exercise program that was foolproof, just and short, just as short as I could make it, so that the person could stop snoring quickly. So I found 86 people all over the United States who would be my guinea pigs. And so I met with them each once a week. We didn't have Zoom then, unfortunately. So I was emailing the lesson each week and talking to them on the phone. And I wanted to make sure that I worded all of the exercises easily so that people could understand them. And so all these 86 people were great, and they helped me word things that were hard to understand. Anyway, when all of it was said and done, 94% of them stopped snoring.
That is amazing.
I know.
Amazing.
So I knew I was onto something. 94% stopped snoring, and nobody had surgery or spent $6,000 on a retainer or anything like that. So, then I made made up the program, and it was available online at correctmytonguethrust.com, or for Los Angeles, it is stopsnoringlosangeles.com. You can go there and read all about it. But So the tongue thrust and snoring go together, because if you are breathing through your mouth and your tongue is sticking out, you lay down to sleep, everything relaxes, your muscles are relaxed, and your tongue is really going to relax, and it will get wider. And if your tongue is extra wide, like a lot of people's tongue is, then it will help open your lips while you're sleeping. And then you're breathing through your mouth and you're snoring, and it's all connected. So when I treat someone's tongue thrust, I also teach them how to breathe through their nose. And when I teach somebody how to stop snoring, they have to learn how to close their lips. And this leads to sleep apnea. So when you snore, let's say you snore along a lot of years and you get louder, you snore, you open your
Yes.
mouth wider, you're snoring, or you get just so loud, it can lead to sleep apnea, which is what Steve has. And this sleep apnea, so the snoring is when your tongue partially, it falls back in your throat and it partially occludes your airway. So hence the noise, that kind of weird snore noise. But when it's
Mhm.
sleep apnea, your tongue totally closes off your airway and you stop breathing. And so
Right.
the significant other in the bed with you is probably watching you stop breathing, and they're seeing you go, probably, trying to get you to wake up. And then a part of your brain, a very special part of your brain, wakes you up and you go, you snort to wake up and get out of it. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who know what I'm talking about. Steve, you used to do that, right?
Janet, I got to tell you something. If a person has never had to use a CPAP machine, they won't understand this. But there are a lot of people out there who are on a CPAP machine. And first, I'm going to tell you, Janet has never told me that I'm going to come off my CPAP machine. She has never made me any promises except that she would work with me. And everything she tells you makes so much sense. And I got to tell you, after my first week and a half with Janet, I got to tell you, it was a difference in night and day. And to have to sleep with a CPAP machine, it's the most ungodly way to sleep. That we were not meant to sleep on a machine.
Right, right,
And I'm going to tell you, if you snore, and listen, there's a lot of people out there that snore, Janet, that don't like to admit that they snore.
right. That's
I was
okay.
one of those people. But can you imagine not? Because I know that when I snored, it would wake me up every time.
Right, right,
Like the athlete, he wasn't running fast, he wasn't making good grades in school. It was because he was always being woken up because you actually stop breathing. And
right,
thank God for
eh,
the snore wakes you
right.
up.
And I think the biggest culprit here is the mouth breathing. Okay.
Yes,
So mouth breathing
yes,
causes so many physical problems. And let me just finish with the program, if I may. I have a program that's tongue exercises. It's 7 lessons. You can get this program online and you can start immediately. And the great thing is, I'm going to be there with you through the whole thing. And the way that works is, whenever you get your electronic program, you will then get a little package from me, and I can tell you about that. But you'll start doing exercises, and there's a special video that I made where I'm treating an adult male. So you can go to that video and go to lesson 1 or lesson 5, and you can see me showing that man how to do the exercise. So if reading it doesn't, quite make you feel like you know how to do that exercise, you can watch me do it. Okay. And then you have to commit to doing the exercises 2 times a day. It may only take 15 minutes at a time. Okay. Some of these programs out there want you to spend 3 hours a day doing some kinds of
right.
exercises. This does not take long at all. And the great thing is, Now, a lot of parents will get this program for their kids too. So the great thing is I have another video where you go to lesson 1 or lesson 5, and I'm sitting there at my desk, and it's my exercise room. And I'm waiting for you or your child, whoever, to come in, sit down. I will do the exercises for them, and they just have to copy me. If you have to do it 5 times,
Right.
I'll do the counting. If you have to time it, I'll do the timing. You don't have, the person doing it doesn't have to read anything, or no, they don't have to know anything. Just copy me, and that'll get their exercises done. Okay. And then parents love it because they always wonder, am I doing this right or not? I just don't know. So it's, there shouldn't be many questions left unanswered after doing the program, and you can see results pretty quickly, because mouth
Yeah.
breathing can cause a lot of different things, like waking up with a dry mouth, waking up with a sore throat, waking up with a headache. It can cause
I'm right
messy sheets.
behind you. I'm there
As a
going, shaking
restless
my head.
sleeper, your
Yes.
sheets are all messy when you wake up. I know that
Yes.
sounds crazy. You wouldn't think that would have anything to do with it. Another thing that children do, well, adults too. Yeah, everybody who breathes through their mouth when they're chewing food. Now let's think about this. When you're chewing food, your lips should be closed. You probably, growing up, your parents might have said, keep your mouth shut, don't smack your lips,
Right.
and all that stuff. But what they didn't know is the reason people have to kind of open their mouth while they're chewing is that they are breathing, they are used to breathing through their mouth. So they can't keep their lips closed very long. They've got to get some air in. Okay. But this program trains them how to breathe through their nose, and then they don't have to smack their lips anymore. And parents are just thrilled when that just goes away. Another thing that people wouldn't connect to this is air gulping while they're smacking their lips and taking in air. And sometimes when they're talking, because people who breathe through their mouth, when they talk, they're also breathing through their mouth. So they get a lot of extra air. And that can cause bloating and stomach issues after you eat.
Ah,
And I was seeing
know
one
that.
kid, a 9-year-old kid, and the mom told me he had never gotten through a whole meal. And I was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, just after a few bites, he's in the bathroom for the rest of the meal." She said, "I've taken him to every specialist I can think of. We just don't know what the problem is, and they just want to give him pills." And she said, "I wasn't going to do that." But anyway, she brought him to me for a tongue thrust, having no idea that she was going to be able that he was going to be able to get fixed for that too. So as soon as maybe 2 weeks into the program, he had learned how to start breathing through his nose. So while he was eating, he was able to keep his lips closed and not take in that air, and his stomach aches went away. Now y'all think about that, what the parent had been
Wow.
through for years, and here they're gone in a couple of weeks because he stopped mouth breathing. There are lots of stories about different ailments and different things that occur, and you just wouldn't associate it with that. Um, a lot of people feel like, and they go to their doctor for this normally, they feel like there's something stuck right here in their throat, and they want to they want to clear their throat, they want to cough,
Sweet.
wash it down with something, and it does go down. And so uh, the doctors, they don't know anything about this. Okay, they don't understand about swallowing. They don't understand that you have to have a certain kind of swallow. Your tongue has to start in a certain place in your mouth to make a good, strong swallow. And so they have come up with the term globus sensation, which can mean it's all in your head. Okay,
Mhm.
because they can't find anything wrong. They'll look at the chords, they'll see, there's nothing wrong. They normally call it hoarseness and send them to me for hoarseness. And the person may not be hoarse, but at least it gets them in front of me. And then I find out that they aren't swallowing right. When they start swallowing, their tongue isn't pushing off the roof of their mouth. It's pushing against the back of their teeth, or any several different places. And what happens is that causes a weak swallow. They don't have anything strong to push off against. So when they're chewing food, they start swallowing, and it's a slow swallow, and there's not enough oomph behind it to make sure the food goes straight down. So we've got these two little notches in here. I call them chairs, so that when the food's going by, if it's slowly going by, some little crumbs can get stuck, and that's what they feel. It's true. There really is something stuck there, ever so slightly, so small, but it's true. And so this fixes that problem also.
Janet, by the time you get a lot of your patients, they probably have tried a lot of different things like I did. And you get all excited, you put the tape on the nose, and it doesn't work. And it's such a letdown.
No.
Your program works. I
I know.
know for a fact
I
that it
know.
works. And I think that by the time you finally get the patient, they've tried so many things that didn't work. It's got to be tough to get them to try new things and let them know that this could work for them.
Right. Well, surprisingly enough, Steve, I haven't had a lot of patients who have tried a whole lot of different things because they are still
Oh,
denying that they snore.
yes,
You know, it
that's
usually
right.
takes the spouse or significant other and me together with that
Yes,
person telling him, yes, he snores. It's a social stigma. I'm sure of it. I've
yes.
said before, when I was growing up, I was at my granny's house a lot, and my granddaddy was way across the room in his lounge chair, and he was always snoring so loudly. I mean, all day. If he wasn't fishing, he was home snoring. And the grandkids would say, "Oh, look at Grandpa, he's sleeping so good. But no, he wasn't sleeping at all, because whenever you breathe through your mouth, this is real important. You cannot get into REM sleep, REM. You cannot get there if you're breathing through your mouth.
Right.
That should be enough to know and to believe that you are not getting good sleep. Okay. And I think so many people at the adult stage, they've been doing that for years, and they have forgotten what it feels like when they wake up to feel rested, truly
That's
rested.
correct.
They wake up, and my telltale question for them is, when you wake up in the morning, do you wish you could just sleep for 5 more minutes? And they're, yes, just give me 5 more minutes. That tells me
That's
immediately
exactly right.
that they're mouth breathers, and they're habitual mouth breathers, and that I can fix it. And that's why I love my job.
And sleep apnea is very dangerous. I don't
Right,
think we emphasize that enough.
right,
For your health, it's extremely dangerous. And
right.
let's give everybody your phone number and your
Okay.
website, Janet.
Okay. It's stop snoring. I'm sorry, stopsnoringlosangeles.com for those in Los Angeles. For everybody else, you can go to author, AUTHOR, because I wrote the book, author at IJustWantToSleep.com. Y'all can remember that. I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep.com. So the phone number is 828-273-9888. And tell your friends about it. Call me, email me, ask me questions. I will answer any question that I can. And if I can't, I'll find out what the answer is.
She
And
will.
we can talk before you decide, to help you decide whether or not this program is for you. And there's a 60-day
Janet,
money back guarantee. So you can't beat that.
yeah, you're the best. I love you.
Thank you.
Janet's with us every month. And we'll see you again next month for Los
Okay.
Angeles, Janet.
Okay. Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much, Janet Bennett. Oh, I'm telling you, she doesn't know this. She's saving my life. She really is. We've run out of time here. We will be back with you next Tuesday at 2:00 Pacific time. Thank you, Rebel. Great job as always. Hey, we'll see you guys soon. God bless.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.